Okay, so as you can see, we will be going over making a basically how a tutorial needs to be, because sometimes people have just text that, you know, people will just skip over and they will basically not pay attention to anything. So we will basically focus, as you can see on the finished product, having a kind of more dynamically done tutorial where the text is easy for the player to see, lets them know what they need to do, like it's kind of placed in the right way, so you don't have to worry about you know, the player not looking at the text, because it's not too much text and it's simple and easy to understand for the player, and it's right in the moment where they need it, so they will actually stop and read it, you know. So yeah, this is the finished product. We'll be kind of going over how this is supposed to be implemented. We'll be doing a quick tutorial, and you guys will very easily see how simple it is to implement something like this, because then you can just follow this in any kind of tutorial, or maybe even in an actual level if you want to implement this style of tutorial text. So starting off, all you need to do to add in Canvas is UI, and anything you do with Text Mesh Pro, it will add a canvas to it. So you have the canvas over here, you can just add it, and then inside of here you can add what you need to. In this case, these are all just text like this, text that I've added, and just to show you how it's done, to UI, and then you will do text, and now you can see it, it's right in front of you. So it depends on how you want to do it. You can literally do it however you want, but you know, you can see the text here kind of moves a bit weird. That is because it is basically an overlay, right? With this canvas, I just did a world space because for me that's how I set up this system. So I'd recommend you to do this too if you want it to be working. So you can see you have 3 options here. You do world space, and once you've done that, you just need to basically, you know, size it down and place it where you want to be. So for example, I will just now get rid of this for now, and you can see that if I reveal this, this is what it is. You can see what it looks like in the game, you can see what it looks like here, you can move it around. Positioning is also quite important when it comes to text, because you don't want it right above the player right now, because you want the player to move to trigger it, and then kind of help the player in a dynamic way understand, like, oh, okay, this is how I move. And I'm not showing jump yet because there's a little gap over here, and this is what I have decided to use for it. So if I do my second text, you'll be able to see here, it's literally just telling you to press space to jump over the gap, which makes it easy to understand that you can jump, right? It's a very simple and easy way, because basically the idea is, you know, you move around, okay, this is how I move, you enjoy the animation, whatever. Oh, space to jump over gaps. Yes, this is a gap, you can just jump over it, because if you don't, you can't get over it, so you do need to press space for that. So that's an easy way to kind of inform the player, this is a mechanic, this is how it works. If you use it, you can progress in the game. Same applies here. You see this, you're like, okay, I can jump, but the jump is not high enough, so how am I going to get through here? And before you even get the chance to really try to get over it, you do get a text explains to you what to do. You know, that's the whole premise of the text. So you need to kind of space them out in a way that's efficient, and you also want to keep the text sweet and short, very direct and easy to understand directions. Obviously no typos and things like that. That's very basic. I don't think I need to explain that. And yeah, I don't have them be deleted, because then if, you know, like if a player accidentally walks out of here and they didn't get the chance to read the text, it'd be very bad for them to not be able to see it. I have made some of the other texts deletable because I don't want the player to see them again once they've walked through it, but that's the main idea. So yeah, just make sure you have them spaced in ways that make sense, because, you know, if I had like space to jump and it was just here, of course the player could see it, but I feel like it makes much better sense and kind of gets the player more interested if it's located in this spot over here where they're kind of forced to jump. Same with this, like if you just had all the text you know, like let's say we just reveal everything, and you had all of these texts just like bunched up together in the beginning, it wouldn't make sense for the player. They'd be very confused. It would be too much information in one place. So if you just kind of interactively let the player kind of like discover by themselves the answers, while not making them feel like they have a lot of information to remember, I feel like that's an easy way to do it. I will just actually go through the entire tutorial just so you guys can see what the function is like. In terms of how the whole text is, we kind of did go over this, so I'm just gonna skip ahead a little bit. And yeah, this one will get deleted once you collect these two. This one here will get deleted because, you know, it says 2 more to collect, but then like you don't want that appearing too many times, because now it's actually 1 more to collect, so I did make that disappear. And now also this entry seems to be locked, will not reappear, because you don't want it to reappear. Obviously you can see now it's open. You can see a gap up here, same kind of logic, a text that will show up in the right moment, because you can see here like, oh okay, so there's something up there, so you can use the wall climbing that you've learned. Now it's a new mechanic. Press tab in midair while moving forwards or backwards to glide. So you can try it out and kind of see how it works, but it's very simple. You just use tab and you glide, and that's it. You don't need to make it too complicated. And then even how to get to the next level is quite important. So, you know, the positioning and everything, find trees with holes like this one, and enter the portal to go to the next level. And you can just do so. Like, you don't even really need to read this too much. You can just keep moving, and then you can, oh okay, so this took me to the next level, and that helps the player kind of understand, basically. So yeah, spacing, kind of being smart about it, that's really important. Now obviously I will show you how to make the text appear and reappear, or have it be deleted. There's multiple ways to go about it. I just kind of did it the lazy way, because, you know, it's anyway. So for these here, you can see it's just the text. There's nothing really else inside of them, but you might have noticed these over here. There's a bunch of them. I should probably group them up just so we can have them all in one place and it doesn't like take up too much screen space. But all of these are just what I've done to create this is create an empty, you can see it's named game object. You could do collider or text or whatever. You can add a component, you can do circle collider, you can do whatever you do. Box, I like it the most in terms of like how you can control it and adjust it, right? Because for example, I'll do this one here now. You can see it's a small little thing. So, you know, if the player starts a level here, I could have it here if I want the text to appear immediately, but I could also just have it like right in front of him as I do in the actual tutorial. And this way they kind of have to move, and then they'll see, oh, okay, this is how I move. Like, you get a confirmation of what you've done. With this one also specifically, I did make it a trigger, because basically if it's just the box collider, I'll show you. If it's just a box collider, it actually does collide with the player and it prevents you from moving. So this box here, as you can see, it's like an invisible box now, so we don't want that, obviously. So the way to prevent that from happening is to make it a trigger. I'll show that quickly so you can understand. You'll see that it is there on the scene, but it actually doesn't collide with the player. It doesn't even stop us from doing anything because we aren't using it for anything. So for example, this is our first collider. You can see the size I've done. I could even make it a bit taller maybe, so the player can't like jump over it, because that makes it seem kind of tacky. We went over this already. I've ticked off that it's a trigger because that's what we want to do. Basically, I will show with the script. As we all know, you do have on trigger because that's the one we want, because we are using a trigger, right? You can see it here. So yeah, now I'm going to be showing the script quickly. So as we all know, trigger is for the trigger itself. So we ticked off the trigger in the game object. That is what helps us use the trigger option. If you wanted it to be something that the player can't move through, then you don't have to tick off the trigger, and you could do private public or whatever void on collision, enter, and you have 2D. Enter is for 3D, exit is for the exit of 3D, and you have exit 2D as well. You even have stay, which is like once the player enters and stays inside of that box. instead of that collision, sorry. But yeah, we'll be using the private void on enter 2D. So you could recreate that theoretically again, like on trigger stay 2D, and it kind of autofills what you need to write anyway, but you know, you make sure it looks like this so you have no problems, no typos. And you do this here with the enter instead of the stay. Now basically with collision compare tag, this is basically if this happens, which is the collision has a tag and the tag is named player, which in our case the player does have a tag called player. So yeah, basically you can have the tags through here. I'm just re-showing this to make it visible. You have the tags here. You can go to add tag. You can name the tag whatever you need it to be. You can save it, and then you can just have it appear when you go back to the game object you're looking at in the inspector tag. And yeah, you can just add what you need. We have the player, so basically once the player himself that has a rigid body enters the collision that we have here, it will pop up the text here, right? And the way we've connected that, I'll just go back to the script quickly, is by having a text that we want. I just named it a text, but it's a game object, right? So you have the public game object, and the game object you want to find is the text. So you will set it to true when it is colliding and it's entering, and then once it's exiting, you can set the game object to set active false, which in turn makes it not active, which is what you want. And also obviously you need to make sure that the game objects are not active in the beginning, because then you can see them from the get-go. You know, like if I did this and I played, you can see it's already visible. We don't want that. You could also have some other parameters if you needed them, but yeah, for me it's just the player is inside now, this will be visible, they're out, it won't be visible anymore. Very simple. And generally when it comes to kind of building out the tutorial, obviously it's very good to have people play test the game. I also personally believe it's really good to have people that don't have experience on the game, meaning, you know, it's not a developer building the game, but it's someone just playing it, so they can see what it feels like, what they struggle with. And you don't even need to say too much. You can just let them play out the game without spoiling too much for them or telling them what to do and what not to do, just to see how a player with zero experience on the actual game kind of adapts, interacts with mechanics, and all these kind of things. So yeah, if you'd like to stay updated, please have a look at our game dev and, you know, stay updated. I feel like this project is something that's really cool and it will develop quite nicely. We're still, you know, we're still adding a lot of mechanics, we're still doing a lot of stuff for the game. There's a lot more to be done, you know. This is, I can't say too much, but yeah, there's much more to do, and I'm excited to see what it turns out like. So yeah, that'll be everything for today. If you need any more answers or questions, feel free to ask away. We'll keep you updated on the progress of this project.